further ado, welcome to Stand Up Speakeasy. I'm your host, Sareth Ney, and every episode I bring on a comic from coast to coast. And this comic is going to be on Sareth Fest this year, happening October 2nd through the 5th at Punk Rock Pizza and World's Most Famous Brewery in Daytona Beach. And it's free to get in. You can't beat that. So, welcome, Clarice Kentwood. How are you, Clarice? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being my guest today.
I'm really excited. I'm excited about Sareth Fest. I'm a little sad it's going to be the last one.
Oh, all things must come to an end. I put on 18 festivals. It's like, all right, it's time to walk away. So,
Yeah, I could, it's funny because being newer to comedy, like I see some of these, comedians like you, who have been in it a lot longer. And, like, not that you don't have the same passion and excitement, but it's like, where I'm excited about the littlest thing, you veterans, as we call, it could be, you veteran guys, you're like, yeah, I'm just tired of it.
yeah.
Spunky
And it's
Robinson said that to me. He's like, he's like, yeah, you're excited now, but, getting to feature isn't as big of a deal when you're 10 years in.
yep. And I've done it all. I mean, I've been a headliner, I've been a feature, host, guest spot, secret guest spot. I've done theaters, dive bars. I've done it all. It's like went on tour. It's like there's nothing really left for me to prove, really. So
Yeah, and me being newer to the scene, like I want to do all those things,
it's a lot of
you
fun for
know.
sure. Yeah.
So you're not stopping comedy. You're just not going to do the festival anymore, right?
I'm actually quitting comedy on October 5th.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh,
It's time to say
now that makes
goodbye.
me extra sad.
Well, I feel fulfilled, so I'm leaving happily and on my own terms, and I don't want to end up being like that comic that's been around for 20 years and jaded and bitter. I'd rather leave
Yeah.
happy and
Well, and
content.
it coinciding with the Nog closing,
Mm,
it kind of, you can cap it off as an end of an era type,
yeah,
type of a thing. Wow.
indeed.
Like I
And
can't
it's
even
like
imagine 18 years. And, I mean, I understand it.
it's a lot for sure. Well, like I did 12. Like one festival was in Beverly Hills, 12 was in Colorado, and 5 was in Daytona. So that's 18 total. So I just shrunk it all into like 12, 13 years. So it's not
Yeah.
bad.
Well, what I know that whatever you do from here
Yeah.
on
And
out,
plus, I
you're
got to
going to
put all
be
my friends
awesome at.
on, and yep. And I already know what my next chapter is. It's pinball and Cubert. Um, and I call it my minding my p's and q's era. So I can't wait to do that.
I love pinball.
Yeah.
My husband and I have a pinball competition tournament that we go. It's on the PlayStation. We have like four different PlayStation 4, PS4 pinball games,
Oh
and
wow.
we have a pinball contest like a year. It runs throughout the whole year, and we use marbles for the scoring. We each have a jar, and if you win, you get a marble in your jar. And if you beat the other person by double their score, you get two marbles. And if you beat them 10 times the score, you get three marbles.
Wow. Fancy.
I have five marbles, and my husband has like 40. I am not good at pinball.
It happens. It happens. Oh man, I go and play the real thing because I just love the real thing. Like
Oh
Just flipping the
yeah,
flippers and yeah, popping the
that's
quarters
awesome.
in. Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
my favorite machine is called Monster Bash. It's where like all the Universal monsters are in a rock band, like the Creature and
Oh,
Bride of
that's cool.
Frankenstein. Yep. So I have this app called Pinball Map, and I type in Monster Bash, and then I type in like the city, and then just pops up everything that has monster, like every arcade that has Monster Bash. So it helps
That
me out
is
big time.
awesome.
Yeah.
Man, Josh and I are gamers, so we're like
Awesome.
totally like we uh we on our one of our anniversaries recently, we did a weekend in Orlando at we stayed at a hotel that was like right across the street from, I think it's Player One.
Mm.
It's like this huge like pinball, and like you pay one price and you can play all the games, and like they have like microbrews and whatnot, and he spent he was so excited. Out of, out of 3 nights that we stayed at the hotel, all 3 nights he went over there and played for hours on, they just had rows and rows of pinball machines and the arcade games, and I love hotels. So like I was like, go have fun. I'm gonna be sitting here at the hotel. I For some reason I absolutely love hotels. So, which is why I'm excited about being like a nationally touring comedian, because I'm like,
Mm.
I can't wait to live in hotels.
Yeah. It's so fun. Like I just got back from tour. I did like a 3 nights tour in Yellow Springs, Ohio, because I had to go see Dave Chappelle's club. And then
Oh, cool.
then I went to Xenia, Ohio, and then I went to Indianapolis, Indiana, and I just went and I stayed at the Days Inn there in like near Dayton, Ohio, and it was just
Uh-huh.
perfect. I'm like a very budget comedian, like low budget comedian. It was like $60 a night, but it
Oh
was
no,
totally
that's
worth it.
perfect. Like,
Yeah.
no, and like I am definitely not, when I say I love hotels, I love the, $50 a night. Is there smoking allowed in this room? Yes, that's even better. Like, you know, what, you only have one floor and, it's just a row of rooms? That's my kind of hotel. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
I don't want to have to go up, drag my shit up any stairs. So, like, no, we are definitely low budget. We do not have room service at this hotels.
Uh, there's actually this program called Ignite Hospitality that I can send you the info on, and if you're
Yeah.
a comedian, they'll barter with you, and they'll get you a free hotel.
Oh, that is awesome. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
definitely
I will.
send me the information on that.
I will. I'll definitely type that in for you so I don't forget because I know Ignite Hospitality for you. And I didn't use them this time around, but I'm just like, I'd rather, I don't mind paying the $60 a night and tipping them and
Yeah.
all that good stuff. But yeah, but balling on a budget.
So,
But I should have,
are
but
you, you know, I I'm in a position where, like, if if I can make money doing comedy, that would be absolutely awesome. That is the goal. But I'm not as like thirsty for it, I think sometimes, as some of the other people I see doing comedy, because
yeah.
like, Josh works for UPS. So whether I make it at comedy or not, the lights are still going to be on. There's still going to be groceries in the house. You know, I'm still going to have a car, so have you found uh have you found it to be something that in your 18 years of, doing comedy now, that you've been able to make a living off of, or have you had to have other side hustles or other jobs?
Well, in, I only have done it for 12 years, and I'm putting like the same
Okay.
amount of years as Eddie Murphy. So he's only did it for 12 years too. But I'm fortunate as to where I'm at financially, so I didn't have to worry about that. But lately, I've been like, I'll just stand up for free. To be honest with you, I don't even care about the money. Like,
Yeah,
just give me a stage and give me a chance. Give me a mic,
yeah,
and I'll just rock the crowd. So at least the best of my abilities. 'Cause I know that I sometimes my jokes don't land, but I know that I have to pick the right show, the right audience, and
well,
but the
and
best
yeah,
stories come from bombing. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it that's, not every audience, like, I look at comedy shows as like a uh listening to a record, the first, you might not really be into the first song, but
Mhm.
out of all these tracks there's going to be somebody that you like.
Yeah.
I hope hopefully it's, comedy ends up being the kind of situation where you find your people and your people kind of, follow you. But, I just, I sometimes like wonder, like you said, Eddie Murphy did it for 12 years
Mhm.
and like he got to be huge.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not a young pup, like that is something that kind of like worries me sometimes. I'm like, I hear some of these people that are in their 30s are like, yeah, I've been doing comedy for 10 years and I'm almost 50. So I'm like, 10 years, I'll be 60. Hopefully not with a walker going to these, shows, but
Mhm.
definitely not a young pup.
Yeah. I wasn't even thinking about comedy when I was 20. I was like trying to finish school. So like I didn't start comedy until I was 30 years old. And now that I'm 42, it's like, I better just play pinball and Cubert. Just enjoy my time while I'm here.
Grow up. Yeah, it's time to grow up and stop doing the comedy and start playing pinball and video games.
It gets me off social media and stuff too. So it's like, no more
Yeah,
plugging shows. I feel so much better. Uh,
yeah.
yeah. Don't have
No,
to
I
deal with
mean,
fake
and
promoters.
so, like, is there a, I'm very intrigued by the Qbert part of it as well. Like, is there are you looking to competitively play Qbert?
Well,
Like,
my
are there
goal is to get.
Qbert playing contests?
I haven't found one, but all I want is like either the top score, the high score, in each state, or top 10 in each state, and I'll be happy. So,
So there is, like, is that, like, are you going state to state, like traveling state to state to play other Qbert people?
oh no, I just play by myself. It's just like a
Oh,
fun thing to
like on
do.
your PlayStation type thing.
Oh no, I go to the real arcades and play them. Yep. I
Oh,
don't have
okay.
I have a PS4, but it's not plugged in, and I bought it from C. Dillard, so it's been like on my dresser for like since I bought it from him like months ago. And like I've only plugged it in to see if my Blu-ray player works, but that's
So,
about it.
like, how do you know that you've got the high score for each state? Is there some,
I take a pic.
like,
I take a picture of it and I record all my sessions, and then I
oh,
just
okay.
maybe throw them up on YouTube or something. It's like, hey,
I
I'll
got
put it
you.
on my Instagram highlights too, which I forgot to do. It took me like 5 turns to get the high score in Ohio on this one Qbert machine, and plus it's like I love him because like whenever he gets caught by like the snake and all those other bad things, he can't say curse words, so he just has all those
Like,
like punctuation marks.
yeah,
Yeah, and so
yeah.
I
I
don't curse
love
on stage,
Qbert.
so it's perfect. So we can relate on that level.
Right?
And I was born in
I,
'82, and it was made in '82, so it's just perfect.
so no, I mean, I love Qbert, man. I used to play a lot of Qbert. And just like my first video game system was the Atari, like, and
Uh,
I was a kid when the Atari 2600 came out. And like it was in the kitchen of our house, and there was like a stool that if you wanted to, because like back then, computers were like, oh, they're, if we let you take this system up to your bedroom, then, how do we know demons aren't going to come through the wiring or something? Like it was like my mom's like, this will be in the kitchen so I can make sure that, you're not doing anything satanic.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and like, because I grew up in a Catholic, house, an Italian Catholic house.
Uh-huh.
And, that was a concern. And, Italian Catholics are very worried about the occult.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so yeah, the Atari sat in the kitchen, and like I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd hear my mom on the Atari playing like the Atari games downstairs because like our bedroom was right upstairs from the kitchen.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, like I'd hear the sounds of Cubert, um, Pitfall. Did you ever have the Atari, like the 2600?
I never had it, but I grew up like I only had the NES, like Nintendo Entertainment System. That was like my
Okay,
first system, so yeah.
I got you. Okay. But yeah, there was this game, Pitfall, where like it was the same four scenes. Like you either had to jump over logs or you had to jump up and catch a rope to go over water. And one of the scenes was you had to jump up and catch a rope to go over quicksand. And the other scene was there were three alligators that you had to jump on the alligators' heads. And it was like the same four scenes. Because we're talking like probably like 8-bit, 16-bit like graphics. And like I'd hear the sound of her playing down in the kitchen. Like I don't think it had anything to do with demons. I think my mom just wanted to play the Atari.
Yeah,
Like,
I think so
I'm
too.
just I'm just saying, it's easy to blame demons for everything when you're Catholic. You're like, you know, Mom's like, you can't take a shower during a lightning storm because that's how the demons get you. You know?
Have you ever used this on stage?
No, I have not.
You need to.
I have
This is
not.
hilarious.
I think I just created a bit right here. Like,
Yeah.
and that's, it's funny because like when I first started doing comedy, like I was so worried about like where am I gonna get material, right? Because like if
Mhm.
I sit and try to think of funny things, like I can't. You know what I mean? And like, because sometimes I do, I sit there and I'm like, okay, come on, I got to come up with some new material. Like, I got to think of something funny. And, you know, I'm not going to say I think for hours because I have ADHD. So, like, for the next 2 minutes until I forget to think about funny things, like, I think, but nothing funny comes up. And then, like, I'll have a conversation with somebody. And, like, that's exactly how it ends up happening is like,
Mhm.
a memory gets triggered and like it takes off from something like I said, I haven't thought of the Atari 2600 in like 30 years at least. I mean, I haven't played one in at least 40 years.
Mhm.
And like no, that's funny though. But my mom she did used to blame a lot of stuff on demons for like why we weren't allowed to do stuff.
That's great.
Like like
I
and
mean,
it wasn't
demons are
helpful
real.
at school. Yeah, I mean like and like she was so worried about like demons that like we weren't allowed to listen to like rock music, right? Like what she considered rock music. And so like we were allowed to listen to Christian music or country music. So like I grew up in not the South. It's hard to be a country music fan in New Jersey. You know,
Yeah.
we didn't even have a country music station on the radio. And like we had Walkmans back then. You know, everybody would be walking around with their Walkman, their tape, you know, Walkman with the tape. And like I never wanted any of the other kids to be like, well, what are you listening to? And take my headphones. Because like they're listening to like Black Sabbath and you know all these like Metallica and Guns N' Roses and like no, please don't listen to that. I'm hearing, you know, please don't take my headphones and find out I'm listening to, you know, Dolly Parton here. You know, like it was bad enough I couldn't talk about any of their music with them because I don't, you know, I don't know anything about that music.
Yeah. I mean, there's no shame in Dolly Parton, and I love like the other bands too, and I mean,
No, there
sure, Bruce Springsteen and
there's a
stuff.
little shade. I mean,
There's
let's be honest. There's a little shame being a country music fan. Like my husband, like my husband tried. He's not a country fan at all. He is a like his he is a his taste goes from Iron Maiden to Jethro Tull type like, but he does not like country music at all. And like he tried to ruin country music for me because he was like every single song is about either alcohol or, you know, guns. And I'm like, what? He's like every country song is either about alcohol or guns. I'm like, son of a bitch. I started listening to it. I'm like, you know what? Most of these songs are like, you know, getting drunk. There's a tear, you know, I mean, all of them. So now I can't even listen. I listen to country music, but every time I'm like there's that little like bug in my ear of, you know, every country song's about drinking or guns. Not that I have a problem with guns. I'm gonna get myself into trouble.
So, would it be safe to say that you're a little bit country, Clarice?
Yes, I'm a little bit
Would it be
country
safe to
and
say that you're a little bit country and he's a little bit of rock and roll?
yes, absolutely. Yes. And like we play this game in the car, right? Because like we play this game in the
Uh-huh.
car for what radio station goes on, whose music we listen to. So whoever's driving gets to put their station on first. And if the other person can name the song title and singer of the song, then they get to put their station on. So
Yeah.
like, you know, I'll get in the car, we'll start listening to country music, and then Josh will start trying to guess who the singer and he doesn't know anything about country. He doesn't listen to country music. And he'll say Garth Brooks because they play a lot of freaking Garth Brooks. And you know, I know he doesn't know that it's Garth Brooks. I know he's just saying that because he says country music plays the same people over and over again. And by golly, it's usually Garth Brooks. So then his station gets put on, and then I never get to listen to country again.
Oh, unbelievable. Country's
Because I
not
don't
that bad,
know.
and yeah.
Well, because I don't know any of his, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know any of the singers on the, you know, on his music.
Yeah.
So
So
it's his music.
that pretty much sums up your first sentence on your bio. It says Clarice Kentwood is a Florida-based comedian who finds the funny in everyday chaos, whether it's family life, small town quirks, or the absurdities of growing up. So that was pretty much everything in
Yeah.
your bio. Yeah. And then the next one says that you perform across Central Florida with the troupe Broken Troy Brigade, and has a knack of turning the ordinary into punchlines that stick. So, how did the Broken Toy Brigade all come together?
Um, it came together at the joke joint. Um, I performed at the joke joint on their first ever open mic night, like two, 2.5 years ago. Excuse me. And Alex Soto over at the joke joint, he um he had mentioned one day that we were all kind of like broken toys, right? That all comics are kind of like broken toys. And like it it struck home for me, because like I've talked to a lot of comics now, and like it's true. You know what I mean? A lot of people go into comedy because there was some sort of tragedy, and not even a big tragedy. You know what I mean? But something that humor seems to have helped fix, you know, and like Josh started hosting the open mics at the joke joint because Alex, he Alex runs around like a chicken with his head chopped off with all the side hustles he does.
Oh yeah, I
So
saw
Josh
that.
started, yeah, he like the chauffeur thing, now he's got a van that like has a light up billboard truck that he's driving around the state, doing that. So Josh started running the open mic, and it was like a group of, like a core group um, that kept coming around at that open mic. And I had somebody from one of the local bars asked me about putting a show on. And so I asked Josh to make a flyer, and he's like, well, why don't we name ourselves the Broken Toy Brigade? And I was like, you know what? I kind of like that name. So it kind of stuck. And I had business cards made up. And now we're mostly focusing on like VFWs and American Legions because, partly because of the brigade being in our name, it kind of goes with that whole military thing. But also because veterans causes are very close to my heart. I have family members who are veterans, who are serving right now. So it's something that's close to my heart. And I like the VFWs and American Legions because like they know who their audience is. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
they, you kind of know who you're getting at those venues as far as audience goes. So yeah, so we've done a couple now. We've done Mount Dora, um Hollywood, not Hollywood, Wildwood, sorry. Mount Dora, Wildwood. This Saturday, actually October 4th, we're doing the Astor VFW on 40 in Astor. Um, and then the 18th of October, we're doing Mount Dora again. We'll be in Mount Dora again. And we've just, I look at it as it's a way to help other comedians get work because, I end up booking other comedians. And I enjoy the behind the scenes part of, booking comedians and, but like I'm not producing like 3 shows a month or anything.
Oh yeah, it's too
Um,
much. Yeah.
yeah, it's every couple of months, I do a show at one of these venues. And it's been a lot of fun. So yeah. So we're the Broken Toy Brigade. You can look us up on Facebook. It's the Facebook page is mostly just, when we have an event. Not very good at the social media thing, like the promotion. Um, and like people are like, "Oh, you should make reels." I'm like, I don't know what to make reels of. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's a
eh,
bit much nowadays. I'm just gonna throw a flyer together and just promote in different groups and call it a day. So
right?
yeah, awesome. And yeah, so your comedy is sharp, relatable, and always a little unexpected. You bring heart and humor to every stage that you're on, and that's a fact because like every time I see you perform, whether it was at the Nog or over, like whenever we see each other at Alex's place, the joke joint, it's always love between us. And I'm like, you know what? You're pretty special, and I can't wait to see you at Sareth Fest this year. So I
I
have to
know.
give you
I'm
your flowers before I
excited.
go away. Yeah, you're
I
gonna
I
see.
am. I'm really excited. To be doing Sarah Fest because like it's one of those things that like I'd see other comedians wearing the t-shirt, right?
Mhm.
And like when I first started seeing it, I was like, I wonder if like before we were actually friends, like I'd see you at the Nog, but like we hadn't really talked much. And like I'd ask myself, I wonder if it's the same Sareth that's at the Nog. Like I wonder if that's his thing.
Yeah,
And and then when I found out I was like, that's just so awesome. And it really is an accomplishment. And I'm very honored to be in the last one. If I couldn't have been in the first one, I'm honored to be in the last one.
awesome. Yeah, it's been a joyride. I love getting together with the artist and him bringing my idea to life, and then making the lanyards and the banners and the posters and the tote bags and all that other stuff that comes with the festival that makes it feel like a festival. It's like
Yeah,
it's a celebration.
I'm excited. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and Punk Rock Pizza is such a cool venue for comedy. It's like a little comedy club, and it's just so perfect. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome. That's great. I can't wait
Hmm.
to see it.
It's beautiful. And you're like gonna be on a bunch of there's gonna be like 40 comedians and storytellers combined. So it's
Wow.
gonna be like 4 days or something, 4 nights, and like a couple musicians, but it's gonna be like so amazing. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
I can't wait either. It's going to be
Yeah,
so much fun.
indeed. So Clarice, these are the all these questions that I've asked every comedian that I've ever interviewed. There's like hundreds of interviews on YouTube. So with that being said, what inspired you to perform stand-up comedy?
Um, I before I did comedy, I was actually I was agoraphobic. I didn't really leave the house much. Um, and my husband wanted to take a cruise. And for years I told him I'm not going on a cruise. I could barely leave the house. I would leave the house, go to my therapist office, see my therapist, have lunch with my mom, and then come home. Like that's really the only place I went. And uh, we were having dinner at my sister's house, and my sister cruises. And she said, I don't, my husband was once again talking about how he wanted to take a cruise. And my sister said, I don't know why you don't want to go on a cruise. They have a comedy club. You love stand-up comedy. I actually collect stand-up comedy DVDs and have for over 2 decades, right? I
Wow.
have like, yeah, I have like 300 stand-up DVDs of stand-up comedy. Um, and when I heard that, I was like, what? Because I had never been to a comedy club, right? Because like Ocala doesn't have a comedy club. And because I wasn't involved in comedy, like I never saw any, comedy shows or anything in the area. So based on the fact that there was stand-up comedy at the comedy club on the ships, I agreed to go on a cruise. So we go on the cruise, and we were up on the smoking deck, my husband and I, after like the second night of going to the comedy club. And one of the comedians, this comedian Will C, came up to the smoking deck, and he sat down and started talking to us. And I was so excited to be talking to a comedian. I mean, like, because I had never met one before, you know. And just in us talking, he's like, "Have you ever thought about doing comedy? You're like freaking hilarious, right?" And I was like, "Oh no." I'm like, I can't do comedy. And he's like, "Why not?" I'm like, "Because you have to be special." Right? Because I'd only seen comedy DVDs, like, and TV specials and edited final product, right? So all those people look special. Like, it gives you the impression that there's something extremely special about those people. And he's like, "You don't need to be special, you just need to be crazy." And I'm like, "Well, I got that, down pat." So, he's like, "Promise me you'll go to an open mic. You'll at least look into it." So, like, I was like, "Okay, whatever." And then we exchanged information, and he would like nudge me. Like, he'd message me on Facebook Messenger and be like, "Did you go to the open mic yet?" And like, I started doing it online, like Zoom comedy.
Mm.
Um, and I wouldn't even have like my face up there, right? I would have there was this like I had an animation. It was like a cat, right? And like the cat would be doing comedy because like the idea of even getting on camera, like let alone standing in front of an audience. And so I did Zoom comedy for about 6 months before the people in the Zoom comedy were like, "You need to go to a real live open mic." Like, and so, yeah, I was inspired to do comedy by a Carnival Cruise comedian who, like, helped me see that you don't need to be special to be a comedian, even though comedians are special.
Indeed. It's a beautiful journey once it started, because man, you just got to get that first step in, and you'll be set for life
Yeah.
until you choose to walk away. So yeah. And let's see, what was it feeling like when you first performed stand up, like live in a not in a Zoom setting, but in like a real life
Um,
setting?
it it was my first time ever doing stand up was in New Jersey because I'm from New Jersey, and I had like a comedy buddy that I had gone through Judy Carter's Comedy Bible, right? Um like we had gone through, or were at the time we were in the middle of going through and doing all of the partner exercises and like a deep dive on it. And uh I was like, "Listen, I'm coming up to New Jersey to visit my family up there." And she's like, "You know what? That would be a great time for you to go to an open mic. You know, you do two open mic, two in one night because New Jersey has a lot." She's like, "You go to two open mics in one night." She's like, "I'll meet you. We'll both go to them. And if you suck, you don't really know anybody there. Like, you're going back to Florida in a week. So, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to have to face those people anymore." So, the first open mic I went to, it was like, it was horrible. I mean, like, it was all comedians. There was no audience that weren't comedians. And I didn't know that there was a difference. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I expected that I had written these jokes and I'd expected somebody to laugh. And I get up and I do my jokes, and all the other comedians are, in their books, writing their own material and, going over their notes. And it was like not only did they not laugh, they didn't even pay attention. Like, you know what I mean? Like nobody cared that I did comedy. And like I get off stage. I did five. I stayed up there for 5 minutes. I told my jokes off of my phone. First time ever being on stage. So I had all my jokes word for word written out. It wasn't good, right? But I expected people to have at least listened. So, like, we're on our way. We left that place. I didn't cry. I wanted to cry so bad. I really did. I wanted to cry. But I had promised my husband, Josh, that there was no crying in comedy, right? Like, no matter how bad this goes, I can't cry because I cry at the drop of a hat if I get upset about something. I'm like, there's no crying in comedy, right? And I've promised myself. And so I was like, we get to the car after that open mic was over. And I'm like, I'm not going to the other one. I'm like, I can't do that again. And he's like, well, your friend, like, we're supposed to be following your friend over there. Like, we can't just like pull off and ditch her. Like, you know, I'm like, I'll just call Carla and tell her I'm not coming, that I can't do that again. And she's like, I call Carla, and Carla's like, listen, she's like, I don't want to use this as a bribe. She's like, but at the next open mic, if you sign up to go up, they give you a free joint because New Jersey has recreational weed, right? So
Oh,
to get people to come to their open mic, the open mic was actually at like a dispensary type place. And to get you to come to their open mic, when you sign up, you got a free joint. And, I smoked weed. And I was like, okay, fine, but I'm only doing it for the weed. I was like, right? Like, so I follow her over there. And she says to me, she's like, instead of trying to do like what you have written, she's like, why don't you just go up there and tell um the story about how you tried to go to Rome to see the Pope, and when the Pope died. And I was like, you know what? I will tell that story because it is a pretty funny story. But so I get up and I do, first of all, I smoked half a joint before I went up that time. And I think that loosened me up enough that I wasn't this like, you know, uptight, like, I just went up there and told them the story of, how I booked tickets to Rome in the middle of the night and because Jesus told me to. And it like everybody loved it. Like they laughed, they cheered, they thought it was great. And I'm glad that I talked to Carla because I don't think I would have ever done comedy again if I'd left after that first open mic. Because it was like like how soul crushing it was. And like I've tried to always remember that, like when I see somebody new at an open mic, like I try to remember that and go over to that person, even if they did bomb and get up there and ramble about stuff that wasn't funny, whatever. I always try to go up and be like, you know what? Keep coming, like that was a good try and I think that that's because of the fact that like I kind of carry that like first time of nobody listening, like nobody even caring that I was doing comedy. Like, I try and make sure that nobody else feels like nobody cared that they did comedy tonight. But yeah, that's what my first experience was like.
Awesome. Good stuff. I'm glad the joint was the one that persuaded you to go up there again. And
Right?
sometimes, I feel like sometimes you'll get like one good set that night, and then the next set would be horrible, and vice versa. So I'm glad you went back for doubles.
Yeah, I am. I'm glad that I went to the second one. And
Yeah.
then I came down here and started doing comedy at the Joke Joint. And like honestly, Alex like took me under his wing and gave me stage time, like no matter how bad I was. Like he'd always give me at least 5 minutes to get up there and become better, and I could never thank the man enough for that because that's a very unique, experience that a lot of comedians don't get.
Oh yeah. Most definitely. And I remember you saying that you have like 20 years of stand-up DVDs. And I want to know what your favorite stand-up specials, comedy records, and comedy
Um,
podcasts are.
okay. My favorite stand-up DVD that I have is a 5 disc collection of Sam Kinison.
Oh, nice.
Um, you know, a lot of people had problems with Sam Kinison and looked at him like, oh, that's that yelling, that screaming comedian. But like, if I went to college for psychology,
Hmm.
so a lot of times when I watch comedy, like I'm able to see where a lot of that material comes from. You know what I mean? Like, and Sam Kinison's life, like he had a lot to scream about. You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of shit that happened to him before he started doing comedy that, you know, he kind of deserved to be angry. So, like I that's like my favorite stand-up album, DVD album I have. My favorite comedy record is Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke.
Awesome.
And my mom, when I was a kid, my mom used to play that. Like she had it on the record player. I'm As far as comedy podcasts, I would probably have to say like Kill Tony. I like the whole like 1 minute thing. Like I like the idea of you get 1 minute to perform comedy. And the fact that succeeding on Kill Tony is like could be a career launching type thing, and like look at oh my God, I can't think of his name now. Cam Patterson.
Hmm.
That, he was from Orlando, went out, did Kill Tony, and now he's on SNL. I mean, that's a career launching type thing. So I enjoy watching Kill Tony. Um, but yeah, that would be my answers.
Awesome. Yeah, Srethfest was actually Cam's first festival.
See, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like
So
that,
yeah,
that's the kind of thing that's like, you know, it's the type of thing that like you can look at two ways. Like you could either look at it from a jealous, like that should have been me, or, who the hell is he to get that opportunity? Or you can look at it like good for him.
yeah,
And, I tend to believe that, somebody else having a candle doesn't make my candle shine any less.
yeah.
So, I kudos to him. I do. I wish him the best.
Yeah. And like we had like an early show and a late show, and the early show was a storytelling show. And Cam told him that he couldn't do the late show because he had to go to work at Publix like early in the morning. So I put him on the early show, which was storytelling, and he told a story about how him and David Jolly work like David Jolly took him under his mentorship, and how everything just unfolded the way it did. And I'm so proud of the guy. I'm like, and he was on my special as well. David Jolly was on my special I did,
That's
but it's not
awesome.
on. It's not in DVD or anything, but it's on YouTube. But it's hidden. It's secret, and it's like my special sprinkled all over the internet. So you have to look for the links. It's pretty neat. It's like an
That's
Easter egg hunt.
awesome. That's awesome.
It's a modern day secret special. I think I'm thinking like 3025 instead of 2025, but I put it out like 4 years ago. So, yeah. Like good luck finding it, and if you find it, good luck. And because I was trying not to go viral with my comedy special, I said if anyone finds this, they find it. It's like a treasure hunt, and so it's up to like 3,000 views now instead of like millions. And I'm like,
That's
this is
like
how I
the
wanted to do.
opposite. That is the
Yeah.
exact opposite of what most people who put out a special are like.
I'm like,
I
this is
really hope
perfect.
nobody comes across this. The fewer views, the better.
Yep. Indeed. I'm not paying for any views or nothing. It's just going to happen naturally.
I'm just this is just above unlisted on YouTube.
Mhm.
This is like don't even bother searching because
Yep.
you're barely gonna find
Yep. And so if you find if like it's pinned on my X post, like it's like at the very top, and it tells like the story of each video clip. So there's one location. Everywhere else, you're just gonna have to look for it. I'm not even gonna tell you where it's
it.
at. So yeah. And Clarice, like Cheech and Chong and like all those guys, some of them have been on TV and film. So I want to know what your favorite sitcom sketches and comedy films are.
Oh, I absolutely love Chuck Lorre's stuff. I mean, I think Chuck Lorre is absolutely brilliant. From Big Bang Theory to Two and a Half Men to he his whole anything Chuck Lorre touches, Young Sheldon, you know, Ghosts, anything he touches just is masterpiece. How I Met Your Mother, that's not a Chuck Lorre, but that's another one of my favorite sitcoms. I am a sitcom freak. I love sitcoms. Um, like, and I think it goes back to those 80s sitcoms, Different Strokes and The Jeffersons and uh, Three's Company and uh, all those The Facts of Life and all those 80s sitcoms and Frasier, moving into the 90s with Frasier and Cheers. Like, I love all of them. My favorite sketch comedy show, for a long time, I wasn't really into sketch comedy. Like, when I was younger, um, like, I didn't really recognize it as sketch comedy, but I used to watch In Living Color, right?
Mm.
And uh, I used to watch In Living Color. And I didn't really realize that that was sketch comedy when I was watching it. And now I'm into like Portlandia. Like I've recently started watching Portlandia, and the comedy in there is like it's it's so like nuanced in their skits. I love the Kids in the Hall, Dave Foley, his whole gang, the Second City, like any group, any troupe put out by Second City, like is amazing. Um, but yeah, I did improv for a short time and sketch, just online, and then I kind of felt like I kind of felt like doing improv and comedy, like it's like I could be decent at both or really amazing at one. So I focused on the stand up. But I had fun doing it, the improv that I did do. It was fun. I love sketch comedy stuff.
I do too. Like I love like in Living Color when like they had the dozens with Jamie Foxx and stuff, and
Yeah,
yep, I memorized all those jokes, and I would tell my friends those jokes, and it'd be so horrible, and people would gather around me and just to watch me tell people talk crap about people's moms. It was just so
right. Mad TV,
yeah,
Fire Marshal Bill.
yep, yep. And favorite comedy movies?
Um, I love. I have two favorite comedy actors. I love Will Ferrell, and I love uh oh my God, his name just went out of my mind. Uh, Holy shit, he just did. Uh, my God. Adam Sandler.
Yep.
Man, I was just thinking about Adam Sandler and then his name just popped out of my head for a second. But yeah, I love Adam Sandler. He just did the sequel um to Happy Gilmore,
Hmm.
and it was like I sometimes side eye sequels, especially this much later, you
Hmm.
know, like after a movie's been put out and then they're like, oh yeah, now we're going to do a sequel. It's like, I tend to side eye that because, you know, very often they don't capture the same spark that the first one had. And the Happy Gilmore 2, it felt like Happy Gilmore. It had that same feel to it. So Adam Sandler and Big Daddy, you know, when they're dragging the kid away and he's yelling, I wipe my own ass, I mean, like, that's one of the funniest movies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there
Uh-huh.
are iconic moments in, Adam Sandler and Will Ferrell, the Anchorman, like Ron Burgundy, like, you know, iconic movies that both of these people starred in. And I think they don't get the props that they deserve because it's comedy and not the, Platoon or um, Dead Poets Society. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
I think a lot of times in Hollywood, comedy movies are looked like down on as far as awards and stuff compared to like the Titanic and those more drama stuff. But like the comedy stuff, like I think it's harder to make somebody laugh than it is to make somebody feel emotion, like heartbreak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like the horror community and the like films, they just don't get the flowers at the big award shows. Like I watched like Tony Todd like get passed on, like he passed away as Candyman, but like he had so many
Yeah,
iconic roles, and they didn't even put him in the memoriam things at any of these
yeah,
award shows. It's baloney. I watched.
exactly. Like, it's just like I think comedy actors, a lot of times they do a lot of physical acting as well, a lot of physical comedy, and they don't get the props for that either.
Yeah, that's for sure. And Clarice, if you can go on tour with any comedian locally and internationally known, which comedians would you go on tour with?
Oh, wow. Wow. Um, I would love to go on tour with like Kathleen Madigan. Um, you know, uh, as far as like famous comedians, I'd love to go on tour with her. Um, I love Anthony, even though he's a horrible, like, some people really don't like him because he's a horrible, like, they see him as mean. But Anthony Jeselnik, like, I think he's
Mm,
hilarious. You know
I
what I
can see.
mean? That dark, some of his material, it's you know, I, I like laughing at something that makes me feel bad that I laughed at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that from like just from a psychology perspective, right? Like he does this joke about, how he won't buy his nephew a Barbie doll. And he refuses to buy his nephew a Barbie doll. And because it gives, little boys unrealistic expectations. And like the audience is going wild, like supporting him, like you're right, what it's to be a woman. And then the punchline is, it gives little boys unexpected expectations of how easy it is to remove a woman's head.
yeah,
Like, and like you laugh at that, even though you know that like you should not like I should not find that funny. Like, it's funny, but that's not funny. You know, the the idea that both of those things could happen at the same time, just it it fascinates me. And I think that I would love to go on tour with Jesselnick just so that I could talk to him about shit.
yeah,
I just think he'd be fun to have conversations with as a comedian. As far as like local people, um, there's a lot of local people that I would, in a heartbeat, go on tour with. You know, um, there's a lot of people locally that like really put the work in to do comedy. You know, like I would love to go on tour. I think Spunky Robinson would be fun to go on tour with. You know, um, uh, I'd like to go on tour with like I'm so horrible with names. I'm like I can't think of her name. Shay Lowe.
hmm,
Like I love Shay Lowe. I'd go on tour with her. A lot of female comedians. Like there's a lot of female comedians. I I would love to get a bunch of female comedians together and just tour as like a female comedy show. Because there is that idea out there that women aren't funny. I hear that every so often. Like somebody will be like, well, women aren't funny. I mean, I think it's less now than, say, I'm sure like 20 years ago. Um, but yeah, that's still out there. So I'd love to do a like women's, you know, women's tour.
oh, for sure. And like we're at a minute and 4 minutes, and um, how long can I keep it, Clarice? Just we're like
Oh,
halfway through the questions.
I'm here for as long as you want me.
Okay, sounds good, Clarice. Yeah, I got to give it up to Spunky. He's like the most amazing like hustlers out there, and like you said, there's like not enough shows for like a lot of women. And when I see these flyers floating around the internet and they don't have a single woman on the flyer, I'm like so livid. Like I'm like,
Right.
you got to be kidding. Like and for the festival this year, and almost every single year that I've done it, it's like I put like the same amount of men and women on the bill. Like this year's like 20 of each, 20 men and women for storytelling and comedy and combined, so total, which isn't bad,
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, it's it's one of those things that like I don't understand. I get that there's more males in comedy, you
Hmm.
know, and I'm sure that a big part of it is, the guys hang out with the guys.
Yeah,
So, they put their friends on. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I get that aspect of it. But like I've seen some of these comedy, companies or comedy troupes that show after show after show, it's the same 10 guys,
yeah,
same 10 comedians and not a female at all in the lineup, you
yeah,
know? And the thing is that if I've had many shows that I've gone to that after the show, female audience members have come up to me and said, you know, we wouldn't even come out to this show, but we saw there was a female comedian, so I made my husband take me to the comedy show.
yeah,
Like bookers do themselves a disservice
yeah,
because a lot of times it's the wife that drags their husband out to the comedy show. It's the wife that's like, hey, there's a female comedian, because honestly, a lot of times all male comedy shows tend to be very penis centric
yeah,
in that, you know what I mean? And women get tired of hearing that from five comedians in a row,
yeah.
you know?
And I'm guilty of saying a lot of penis jokes.
Exactly. Like,
Guilty, guilty, guilty.
exactly. Like, male comedians have this thing about dick jokes, and it's just, I, I don't get it.
Yeah, me
Like,
neither.
but yeah, you do it.
Yep. But as long as they're classic cock jokes, then it's totally fine. Well
Yeah,
crafted cock jokes.
well, well crafted. And that's every male comedian I've talked to has said, well, my dick jokes are well crafted and classy. No, they're not. They're like classy does not belong in the same sentence as penis jokes. It just
No.
does.
Oh, it's so hilarious.
These
And
are
my
the
nickname.
dick jokes Prince Charles would tell. I'm telling you, that's how classy my dick jokes are. King Charles would repeat my dick jokes. No.
Absolutely. And like my two nicknames in comedy are the cleanest, dirtiest comic in Florida now, because I got it in Jacksonville and Daytona, and then I got the poet laureate of Pornhub is my other nickname, and it's
Oh,
just
nice. That's when I knew it was time to like leave comedy. When I got the designation awarded of Pornhub.
yeah. Or should we say
My time
Cornhub
is
since
up.
it's
My time is up. Time to go play pinball and Cubert.
absolutely. I should say Cornhub because it's like we're on YouTube, so let's just call it
Oh
Cornhub.
yes, Pornhub.
Oh man. And let's see here. Uh, if you can get roasted by five comedians, top five that are alive, which comedians would you like to get roasted by?
Oh my gosh. I don't like roasts, but if I had to, honestly, Anthony Jeselnik has to be at the top of that.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
you know, um, I I think I would like George Carlin. would be a cool comedian to roast me. Uh, I really like Richard Pryor. Like I think it'd be funny to see what he would have to say about my honky ass, you know, because that's exactly what it would be. You know, he never minced words about calling a cracker, you know. And I love him, but yeah. Uh, let's see who else. Um, I like John. Oh my God, he oh he's on Netflix. John. Oh my God, I can't think of his name now.
I wish I could
Starts.
help, but I don't have Netflix.
Oh. He he went to uh he went to rehab, like famously. Like he does a lot of material about it.
Oh, John Mulaney.
John Mulaney, that's it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, like I love John Mulaney. I think he would be funny to, in a roast. But I don't like I tend to not really like the roast um format because like I I I'm not good at roasting because I don't like to think bad I can't think bad things about people. Like I
Yeah.
just like I'm too sensitive. I know if I was in a roast, I would cry. I would absolutely end up breaking my no crying comedy rule because like the first time one of these roasters called me a fat ass, even though I'd say on stage that I'm a fat ass. The first time somebody else called me that, I would just start crying. And I can't like I got bullied in school when I was a kid. So like to me, like I try to not say bad things about people. So I can't really like come up with bad things to say about people. Like my husband and I, Josh and I have tried to roast each other, play roast, and like just not good at it. Because like I'll say something that's even a little bit mean, and then I'll be like, I'm sorry, I don't really mean that. But like in a roast, that like you're supposed to like you mean that. Like I meant to cut you in half.
Yeah.
You know, I think also having a background in psychology, one of the things that you're taught when you study psychology is the idea that like you have knowledge of how because you have knowledge of how to build people back up, the that same knowledge can be used to tear people down.
Yeah.
And I've also kind of thought to myself, like, if I let myself really get into roast mode, like, I could really hurt people. You know what I mean? Because, like,
Mhm.
I see people's vulnerabilities and can see where that, roast would really, like, break them. And I don't want to be the kind of person that, not that I mean, I love Jeff Ross's, roast battle. Like, I love watching them, but I just wouldn't be able to do it.
I feel you. Yeah, my very first show ever was my roast. I'm like, baptize me in fire, prepare me for stand up, so I can handle anything. And now it's up to like almost
Right.
700 views on YouTube. It's fantastic.
That's awesome.
But like on Sunday, the my final show is gonna be called the Toast of Sareth Ney. And so like
Oh,
everyone that's
cool.
ever been a part of Sareth Fest can like jump in and say nice things and about each other, about me. It's like whatever, but it's gonna be like that. I want to go out properly. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. And so Clarice, What do you see your comedy journey in the next 5 years?
I'd like to be a nationally touring comedian. Like, I love hotels. I love traveling. I love driving. Like, all of the things that, like, when I talk to 10 comedians who are 10 years in, like, hate, like all those things that they hate, I'm like, I love those things. Like,
Mhm.
I will drive 5 hours to go do 10 minutes, you know, and happily drive those 5 hours. A lot of times I don't because my husband doesn't really want me driving 5 hours. It's he, Josh tends to be more protective of me than I am of myself as far as like, I'm like, yeah, I'll drive 10 hours in one day. How hard can it be? You know, yes, I'll get home at 5 in the morning, but I can sleep till whenever, right? I have nothing during the day. I'll go to bed at 5, which, I mean, let's face it, pulling in the house at 5 a.m. means I'm not going to bed till 7 by the
Mhm.
time I decompress from driving for 5 hours home. But I love driving. I love hotels. You know, I love checking out. Like, now that I am not now that I actually leave my house, I like seeing the stuff that's out there. I spent a long time like afraid of the world. And, once I got over that fear through comedy, because, I had to leave the house to go to the open mics. And like once I got over that, like I want to see the whole country and I want to do it through, comedy. But I don't really like that's where I would like to be, but I worry that I don't really know how to get to that. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to get on a show like in Rhode Island. Like I don't know anybody in Rhode Island. You know what I mean? So like I'm hoping that that's something that as I travel through the comedy journey, like I figure out. Um, like I do. I hope that I figure that out as I get through my comedy journey. But in 5 years,
Well,
I'd like to be a nationally touring headliner.
indeed. Well, if I've been a touring comedian for quite some time now, so if you ever need any pointers and tips, I'm here for you. So
I appreciate that.
yeah,
I
I
do. I
don't
appreciate.
recommend. I did a whole month of like mics and shows one time, like consecutively. I don't recommend that. Like cap it at 2 weeks, and you'll be happy. Like each time, like do 2 weeks increments, and you'll be good to
I
go.
got you.
And also save up at least $100 per night or per day as like gas, food, hotel, all that stuff, and you'll be good.
Yeah.
Like don't go partying and spending like money on Dom Perignon or whatever. Just do your thing, and then go and
Yeah, I'm not like I'm more of a let's get a hotel room and I'll be here in the hotel room watching TV until because I love TV. I mean, I am a huge TV fan. So like I'm not a let's go party even after a lot of times comedy shows they're like let's go over to so and so's house and party or go to this bar and drink. I'm like no, I'm on my way home.
yep,
I'm
exactly.
done. Mm.
That's how I feel. I'm like, and it saves me so much money. It's like, oh, it feels so
Yeah.
good. Let's see. Which other forms of comedy would you like to venture off into, like improv, sketch, comedy writing, acting, directing, etc.?
Um, I I've recently acted in a movie. Actually, we have one more shoot left. Called Sheeta Playa, it's been a lot of fun acting in that movie, but I don't know that like I want to be an actor because of that. Not that not because of anything having to do with that specific production,
Mm,
just the like there's a lot of waiting around, you know?
yeah.
There's a lot of, just sitting around waiting and like there's no TV while I'm waiting. You know what I mean? Like
Mm, yeah.
it's like quiet on set, go sit over there, sit quietly in the corner. We'll tell you when it's time for your scene.
Yeah.
So, I'm not really a big fan of that. So I
No.
don't know that I really want to like I could see getting into comedy writing, like, writing for a sitcom or something like that. I would absolutely love something like that.
Yeah.
Um, but as far as like an actress in a movie, like it just seems very like boring to me with way too much waiting around. But I could definitely see being a comedy writer for like a sitcom or even a sketch show. I could definitely see doing something like that.
Awesome. Yeah, I value my time way too much to be in the movie industry too. So I'm just like, I don't. Yeah,
You
just
can't do it.
put me in a trailer with 2.5 men. Not that kind, but just like
Right?
I'll be.
Exactly. Like, yeah.
Yep. And let's see here.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Joker comic has written?
Um, One of my favorite jokes has probably got to be um Anthony Jeselnik does this joke, and it's very offensive. There's not like cursing in it, but um he just the fact that he has the courage to tell this joke. Um, he talks about how his mom was supposed to be one of the on one of the flights that flew into the towers on 9/11. Like she was supposed to be on one of those flights.
Mhm.
At least he thinks so. Like,
Jeez,
you
it's
know what
so
I mean?
dark.
Like it's very dark. And it's another one of those like yeah, I laughed at it because like laughter is one of those things that it's hard to suppress. Like when it
Yeah.
hits you, you know what I mean? It's like, we've all gotten in trouble for laughing at things that we knew we weren't supposed to laugh at, or
Yeah.
laughing when when we were supposed to be quiet, but, try as you might, you can't not laugh because it's such an involuntary thing. So, like, some of my favorite jokes are the kinds of jokes like, that make you laugh, even though, like, you shouldn't have laughed. Like, that's
Mm,
really not funny. But, like, you laugh because it is funny. Like, so yeah, that's probably one of my favorite jokes is Anthony Jeselnik's joke about his mom and the 9/11. That and the whole, the Barbie doll joke. I love that joke too. The whole,
yeah.
you know, it
He's so
just
brilliant.
that it really is. It's like, because like
For sure.
the audience thinks they know where he's going with it. Like they're
Mhm.
finishing the joke in their mind, and then he just says something that's like, "What the?" what the hell?
And what experience would you like your odds to take with them after a set is over?
Um, like what experience do I want the audience to take?
Hmm.
I want I want them I want them to think that I'm the kind of person that they'd like to go and have lunch with. You know what I mean? Like that I'm approachable and, like somebody that they'd like to hang out with. I don't really do any like inspirational, there's some comedians that are, you walk away feeling better about yourself from their sets, like Ants Rants, like, you know, like he has a message in his, and I don't really have a message. So I kind of hope,
Uh-oh. Well,
um,
Clarice is there. You are. It went in and out. So
are
you
you,
were talking about Ants Rance having a message.
what's that?
Oh, the screen
My,
went black out, like it blacked out. So you
yeah, because
mentioned Ants Rance had a
a
message.
phone call came in, but now my headphones don't work.
Uh-oh.
I
I
think
can hear just
it's
fine
fine.
though.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. I think the phone call disconnected the headphones. Now my hair's all a
Oh,
mess.
it's okay.
But yeah,
But yeah, you mentioned
that's one of my favorite jokes.
awesome. Yep, and Ants Rance and how he had a message, and that's
Oh
the
yeah, like Ants Rance has a message to his comedy, and I very much am like, "Hey, those are my jokes. I hope you'll be my friend." Like,
awesome. And so, Clarice, let's see here. This next portion is the stand-up speakeasy is like a secret society of stand-up comedians. And with that being said, which comedians would you like to see on a future episode of the stand-up speakeasy? That's in your circle.
um, Shay Low, um, I think she's really funny. Um, Hav stopped playing. Javier Gonzalez. He's funny. He's really funny. Scott Bird is hilarious. You know.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Um. So yeah, I think those would definitely.
And two more.
Oh. Um. Brett Golden. He's funny. Uh. I'm trying to think of who else. Um. Aaron Phillips. He's hilarious
Awesome.
too. My friend Aaron Phillips. So yeah.
Good stuff. And Clarice, where can the audience find you next? Like, what are your upcoming shows?
Um I will be on this Saturday. I will be at Filipinos Italian restaurant in Lake Mary for at 7 p.m. for Calico the Surrealist show. And then on October 4th, I will be at the Astor VFW. It's right on 40 in Astor. And that's a 7 p.m. show with the Broken Toy Brigade. It's going to be me, Scott Bird, and Ants Rants is the headliner.
Awesome.
So yeah, come on out and check it out. And of course, I'm going to be on uh, Sareth Fest. Very exciting.
Awesome. Fantastic. Can't wait for you to be there. As for me, I have some shows coming up. Let's see. I will be at Lynch's Irish Pub tomorrow night, September 24th at 7:30 p.m. in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. September 27th, I'll be at the Dogpound Sports Bar and Arcade in Zephyr Hills, Florida. I'm going on tour about it's called There's Something About Scarface. It's gonna be like a multi-night run with my buddy Charlie McMullen. We're gonna start off at September 30th at 8 p.m. at the Moon Room at Pineapple League in Melbourne. Then we're gonna be on October 1st at 7 p.m. at the Funny Bone Side Stage in Orlando. Then we're going to the October 1st at 9. We're going to be at Bullenbush Pub in Orlando. And then on October 2nd, we'll be at Punk Rock Pizza and Bar in Daytona Beach at 6:30 and 8:30. Then October 3rd at 6:30 and 8:30 at Punk Rock Pizza. October 4th, 6:30 and 8:30 at Punk Rock Pizza. October 5th at 1 p.m. at World's Most Famous Brewery. And October 5th at 1:30 p.m. as part of Sareth Fest at Punk Rock Pizza. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun. It's going to be a whole lot of runs of shows. It's my final tour that
Awesome.
I'm leading up to the festival. So I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. And so, Clarice, are there any final words you'd like to give out to the audience?
No, just if you're a comedian who's just starting, you know, definitely keep coming back. Because even if it seems like you're not going to get better or you're not getting better, the more you go and do comedy, the better you become. So, keep trying, keep plugging away at it. If it's something you're passionate about, if it's not, then, maybe go find something else to do.
Oh, yeah. Like Pinball and Cubert.
Like pinball and Cubert.
Awesome, Clarice. Thank you so much for being my guest. It means the world to me. I'll publish this on my website, and
Awesome.
I'll send it your way, and you can put it on your press kit and all that good stuff. And for everyone else, we hope to see you at our shows. All my shows are free to attend, so even the festival's free to attend. You can't beat that. So just come
Yay.
on in. Yeah. All right. Be well. My name is Sareth Ney.